Yeah, you are audible, sir. No
Okay.
problem. Not about the camera. It's okay.
Yeah, camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to hear from you guys. Have you ever worked on any kind of applications or related to AI or anything? What is your understanding as of now? Anyone can explain. Whatever you tried.
So, hello everyone, this is Prateek. So, recently I came to this exposure where we are only using some vibe coding and started using code. And in our team, somebody is using MCP server and agents, which I'm like clueless to what's going on there. So this happened like last 3-4 months when this all started, and it's going very, very rapid course in our organization.
Okay.
But yeah, I've used Copilot and Cursor.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Sir, I missed that question. What was that, funny?
So have you got any exposure to AI at any point of time? Have you worked
Okay.
on anything? What do you know so far?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're using Copilot in the project. I have done multiple projects, few projects on ML side for the trade promotions. Yeah, that's pretty much actually using Copilot, using ChatGPT, obviously,
Right.
almost every day.
ML side in the sense, done any machine learning?
It's a machine learning use case. Using historical data, 4 years historical data, we used to get the no, consumer buying trends, right? So we used to categorize them into different buckets, how they are buying, right? So we used algorithms to analyze the data, and of course, wherever we do not have the data, we have to do the data cleansing and also data filling, and then use algorithms to bucketize those sales data.
Okay, got it. So clean up of data, pre-processing of the data.
Correct.
And then using some algorithm and did some prediction or recommendation.
Predictions, yes.
Okay.
I mean, we have done two use cases. One is analyzing the data, and then the prediction, right? So there are two different items.
That's right.
Analysis also we used machine learning. Even the predictions also we used machine learning.
Okay.
Right? So it used to tell, okay, if I use a specific plan, what would be my projected, sales outcome, right? So we used to predict that.
Okay. So kind of a prediction.
It was long ago. It was around 3-4 years ago. But yeah, in the recent time, it's pretty much using Copilot, using ChatGPT, right, on the generative stuff. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So first of all, I'll start introducing myself. Some of you already know about me, but I'd like to give you my introduction first, and then I'll start. So myself, Pani Chandrasekhar. So I'm totally having around 23 years of IT industry experience. I'm mostly into Microsoft technologies at the early stages, and then moved into leadership role as well. Almost since 10 years, I'm into engineering managerial role. So worked on services and product-based companies as well. And then last 2 to 3 years, I would say mostly I was exploring on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Initially, I did some PG program in IIIT Hyderabad. Of course, that was a bit complex, but I was able to understand the concepts, but it's more of mathematical stuff, and then more theoretical stuff there. I couldn't got my practical exposure there, so it was almost 9-month program. I did that, but still I had some doubts. I mean, how I can accelerate in my learning. That's where I thought, let's do the teaching part. Uh, when you have to explain to somebody, you need to understand the concepts more in deeper level. That's where I felt like more learning is needed. So initially, I brought my friends, colleagues, a lot of people who joined my sessions, and then I have given 1-month program there because I just tried bringing everything which I learned in the 6 months program plus 3 months project into that 9-month program into concise mode, and then I tried explaining that into 4 weekends, which is almost 2 hours of sessions over the weekend, and it's around 20 hours of session total. So there are 3 parts in it. One is machine learning, and the other one is deep learning, and the third one is generative AI. Of course, I did started this in 2022, end of 2022, and then 2023 beginning. By the time generative AI is not that much accelerated, so I was more concentrating on machine learning and deep learning there. I'm able to explain the things theoretically, and then I'm able to brought that some correlate the some mathematical concepts also to the concepts. That is where I was able to do well. But the problem was the practical exposure, which which was missing to the cohorts. So then immediately I thought, let's expand the program, make it a 3-month program, and then deep dive into the subject more elaborated. And then in parallel, let's do, the practical things so that give some walkthroughs. Let's do some programming and then do some walkthroughs. Previously, we have to write our own program, which might take a lot of time. Now we have a lot of tools, and vibe coding is helping us. And then there are some AI tools which are helping us on accelerating our learning. So that is where I thought, let's revise the program and add more AI tools, because tools are more of accelerators for your learning, I would say. I'm going to help you on that. Some of the tools are provided by Google and Claude and Cursor kind of tools. So these tools are going to be definitely the accelerators, but at some point of time, you have to do your own work. That is where I'm going to guide you people. So that's about the program. Now coming to the concept. Before jumping into the AI and ML part, I would like to hear from you guys. What's your opinion on a model? You might be hearing a lot of things, right? Everybody's saying model, model, model. Model can be a machine learning model, and model can be a large language model. So what exactly a model, in your opinion? Any idea? So one-liner is also fine for me. ChatGPT is a model. You might already heard about it.
It has so much of data,
Yes.
and does some computations, and basically it's a data with computation, um, um, and gives answers. I mean, if it is a large language model, the purpose might be different.
Right.
If it is a machine learning model, the purpose might be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, data with computation and gives some answers to us.
Absolutely.
Or it has all the answers. Whatever we ask, it gives the answer.
Right. In a way, right? Any other ideas, thoughts?
It does. Okay, I'm audible, right? So it might be it is having his set of data, and whatever we ask for, it take some core word of it, match it, do some mathematical on it, and whatever the scores comes very close to it,
Right.
it returns that. Because I'm currently going with the implementation of semantic model. and embedding, right? Embedding, which we do while search on open search.
Right.
So I got this idea from that. So they might be doing the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
So for
model.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, model is a trained pattern. It's for, I mean, we provided some kind of data and we give it some kind of training. So based on that, it will give the results in the future. So what all the input you provide.
That's right.
Yeah.
More or less, most of you are all got the same understanding. That's good, actually. I'll give you an analogy. Basically, just think like a model is a student who is trying to learn the things. Okay, and you are giving a syllabus to the student. Student is trying to read that syllabus within his academic period, and within that, you are going to conduct some exam for the student, and he has to pass that exam. You are going to evaluate the student based on his result, isn't it? So this analogy, if you are able to understand, then you will be able to understand easily what is a machine learning model or what is a generative model. So forget about the differentiation between ML and generative for now. Just think like we're talking about an AI model. So model is kind of as you mentioned, it has some data, it has some memory, and it has some computing power, and it can do some prediction or recommendation, or it can generate some content for you, right? But how this model is achieving that? Is there a specific way that this model is trained, or is any specific pattern that is learning? So if you are providing a syllabus to the student, say for example mathematical syllabus you are giving to a student, and you are asking him to go through entire problems in the textbook. Now you are splitting that textbook into two sections. One section can be 80%, or and the other section is 20% of the syllabus. Just imagine. So that 80% of the syllabus is you are just giving to the student, and you're saying that you train on that, you read that content and then prepare well. And I'm going to pick 20% of the remaining 20% is content is there. So that content I'm going to use to create some logical questions so that he should apply the similar knowledge that he has learned on the 80%. So when the student well trained on 80%, and when I'm giving the questions to him, of course, in the similar, the 20% is also having the similar model of problems, just like that. Imagine. In that case, is that student is going to perform well or not?
Yeah, he can perform well.
He can perform well, right? Basically. Now imagine that that is where we are saying that we are testing the model. We are testing the student. Okay. But now there is another word called evaluation. How to evaluate a model. Now bring the student to outside of that syllabus. Conduct an exam which is outside of the syllabus for him, which is not part of your textbook. Will he be able to perform well or not?
No, it
No,
can't.
What if
It won't.
he is going to get the same questions which are available in the textbook?
maybe partially correct, but not fully.
Exactly, right? So if the student is able to perform well even in the external exam, then we say that model is doing good. And we are giving some measurement for this model or a student. We simply say model is performing well, and its accuracy is some 90% or 80% we said, means he's scoring marks. Imagine in internal exam he scored 90%, and in the external exam if the student scored around 60%, you say model is not performing well. So what do you say for the student? He has to prepare well again. So you will say that do the training again or do the study again, whatever you do, right? The similar analogy, similar concept applies for a machine learning model or a generative AI model or a large language model. So these models are basically having some data, which is nothing but a trained data and test data. Now, model will be trained on that 80% of the trained data and then tested on the 20% of the data. That's the basic concept of machine learning and deep learning. So you evaluate the candidate based on his performance in the internal exam, which is the 20% of the syllabus where he appeared for. Now the model is ready and you are moving it to the production. So means you are pushing this candidate to the external exam. So he has to apply for a competitive exam or something. Now, if he is performing in the similar manner, like if he is getting 90%, means model is really good. It is in internal conditions and then external conditions, both situations, model is really good. So this model is eligible for bringing into the production. So it can do the prediction, it can do the recommendation, whatever. So that's the simple analogy of a model. So if somebody says that I'm doing an evaluation, means what? Now you have a picture. If somebody is saying I'm just evaluating a model, means what?
The testing data, they're checking the model.
Testing the model is internal. That is with the
Outside of
testing data.
testing data is evaluation.
Evaluation is bringing in some external information and then you are trying to test the model. That is evaluation. You got it right. So there are different conditions for the model or the student to work well, right? Some of the conditions are like your data should be good, whatever the data you are providing to the model, right? And it should be cleaned up. It should be pre-processed. That is where your first step comes into the picture, where Raj mentioned we do the cleanup of the data, pre-processing of the data, right? So you cannot directly give the raw data to the model because model need to understand properly about the data, and it will try to picturize the data in terms of graphical representation. I'm just giving you a high-level understanding how the model works. That's it. So based on that, model will try to give you. So you can imagine that you have 10,000 records of employees of a company. Okay. Now you have first name, last name, email, employee ID, salary, role, and then location of his job, and what type of job he is working, some kind of a fields. Imagine that now you have 10,000 employees of data. Within that, you have the salaries of these 10,000 employees, right? Now you are just giving this 10,000 data to a model, like whatever. It can be an ML model, or it can be a DL model, deep learning model, or it can be a generative model. Just think like. So now this model knows about this 10,000 records. That is nothing but training of the model. So when somebody says that I'm training the model, means they're just giving their total data set to the model. Model is trying to understand that data. Okay, that's the step, training step. Once the training is done, now you are asking the model, what can be the salary of an employee having an age between 35 to 40, and the location is Hyderabad. And if you are giving this question, the model should respond back saying, okay, this approximately this particular guy's salary might be 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs something. So how that model is giving that response? Any guess? You have given 10,000 records of data, and now you are asking a question to the model, asking that what would be the approximate salary of an employee of age between 35 to 40 and living in Hyderabad?
Based on the previous training data, 10,000 people, so it is segregating. So based on the area and the age,
right?
Yeah,
It may know similar records, right?
Yes.
People living in Hyderabad and the age group between 35 to 40. So that's a pattern. Model trying to understand. So model tries to understand every time if there is a pattern, common pattern between the records. So every time it will look back into their properties or features. Simply we call it as columns, column names. So in terms of AI and ML, we call them as features. Every feature, first name is a feature, last name is a feature, email address is a feature, and then salary is a feature, location is a feature. So if you consider all these as features, then the model is trying to understand those features, and it put them into dots in visual representation, maybe into 3D form or 4D form. Just think like that. So when it is looking at those dots, it understands the grouping of those dots, tries to recognize those patterns, and it will try to give you the prediction. That's what the models are doing right now. And there are three departments are there in AI. So if you have seen these diagrams, most of the time you will be having a clear picture what exactly I'm talking about. You might have already seen that. Let me share my screen. Mostly you already know about this diagram. You might have seen everywhere. So your AI is a superset. If somebody says I'm talking about AI, artificial intelligence, then it can be anything. It can be machine learning they are talking about. It can be deep learning they are talking about. And actually generative AI is sitting there here, which is another circle. That is where your large language model, your ChatGPT, everything is sitting in this particular circle. Okay. So if somebody asks you what's the relation between artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI, you can simply say that. So AI is a superset, ML is the subset of AI, and the DL is the subset of ML, and then generative AI is the subset of DL, deep learning. That's how the relation is. Okay. That's the reason if somebody says, I'm learning only generative AI, they might learn, but there will be a challenge for them to understand this. You know, they cannot easily pick the concepts in generative AI, in large language models, unless they have some knowledge around this deep learning part. But deep learning has a connection with machine learning, and machine learning need data, deep learning need data, and generative AI need data. So that's the reason data is a key aspect in an entire picture here. So you might have seen that data engineers, data analyst roles are there, right? And especially the data science part I'm talking about. So AI, ML, and data science, these are the combinational concepts where if one is a fuel, the other one should be an engine, kind of. The data is the fuel, and then AI would be the engine there. AI engine will be there if there is no data at all. So that's the reason people who learn about data, they can survive even if they are not able to understand AI and deep learning or machine learning concepts. Hope you got the picture. Any questions so far?
Funny, are we recording the session, Funny?
Yes, yes. It's getting recorded.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So if you got this bigger picture, you can simply say, I cannot work on only large language models directly because I should know something about deep learning, because neural networks is the concept there, which will be having connection with my large language models. And that can be understandable only when you have a clear picture on machine learning. That's the reason in my program, I'll start with machine learning. Of course, I'll go through some basics of Python, and then machine learning. I'll deep dive into the types of algorithms that we are looking at in machine learning, and then deep learning. So now the objectives. What exactly the objectives that we are achieving by using these branches? Anybody have any idea? Why do we need machine learning? Why do we need deep learning? No idea.
With the machine learning, we'll understand more about the data, how we can do the modeling and training of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, a deep learning point of view, the thing is like more kind of analysis part and those things we can understand.
Not exactly same,
Mhm.
but I'll tell you simply.
Mm.
Now I mentioned about employee data, right? 10,000 records of employee data, which is nothing but a tabular data, right? So it is having columns and rows, simple structural data. Okay. So whenever I have a tabular data, and then I may need to train that to my model, then I would say it is a machine learning model. Okay. If I have data apart from tabular, like unstructured data. Unstructured means it can be images, it can be documents, or it can be audio files, or it can be video files. If these type of data I'm dealing with, and I'm going to analyze this particular data, train the data and analyze the data and predict the data, recommend the data, all that stuff if I'm doing, then it is deep learning. Got the picture, right? So whenever I'm dealing with the tabular data like SQL, like Oracle, like Excel file, wherever I have columns and rows, structured data, then I'm going to talk about machine learning models. And if at all my data is unstructured, like company data, you might be having company data with some documents. Some of them are into website URLs, some of them are images, some of them can be training videos. You have a lot of stuff in different formats of your data, which is nothing but unstructured. And now you have to give this entire data to your model, machine learning model. Then it becomes deep learning, because model supposed to understand them by deep diving into each and every format. Either it can be image. If it is an image, it need to read through the pixel by pixel. If it is an audio file, it need to read through the small chunks of audio, each and every small chunk sounding, and then combine everything and do some synthesis or analysis, and then do something. If it is a video file, it needs to slice the video into small frames, and then it needs to read through that, which is nothing but a deep diving of the content. So even if it is a document, it needs to read through para by para, right? Paragraph by paragraph or line by line, and then it needs to understand that. So training the data against a model means this is common. Training is common to machine learning as well as deep learning. Only the data is changing here. Okay, but it's not a sequential process. Just remember, machine learning and deep learning are exclusive things. When you have a tabular data, you are working with machine learning. When you have unstructured data like social media, audio, video, image, files, documents, Excel files. Of course, Excel can be considered in both the cases. So in such cases, you are going to deal with deep learning models. So some of the algorithms are sitting in ML, which can directly read through the table by table, row by row, and they can give the patterns. But in deep learning models, they need some additional qualities, extra quality, where they have to deep dive into this unstructured data step by step. That's the reason they are deep learning models. But now tell me, both are majorly doing the same things for you. Their objectives are same. So the first objective is prediction, right? And then the second objective is a recommendation. Anybody know what is recommendation? Have you seen any examples before?
Our shopping retail online.
Exactly. So prediction is example. Can you give me the example for prediction?
Our weather analysis.
Sorry,
Our weather
weather prediction, right?
predictions.
Weather prediction. Anything else? Stock price. Can be a
Stock price,
prediction, right? So these can be done using either ML or DL, machine learning or deep learning. You can do any model. But the main objective here is you are doing prediction of something. Okay. And what are the recommendations? Somebody mentioned shopping, right? Shopping suggestions. And then you might have seen YouTube videos. YouTube video recommendations are there, right? Where if you are looking at a movie, scene or comedy scenes or songs, the suggestions will be related to that category only for you. So machine learning problem is already working in that aspect in YouTube or OTT movies. If you are watching particular genre movies, you will be recommended with only those kind of a particular genre movies, right? That's a machine learning problem which is being solved. So what is the story happening behind that? How a OTT platform is recommending you same genre.
Yes, they're marking for a user. What are the features we have
Right.
searched, right? Actor,
Right.
and is it comedy? Is it a
So basically
cartoon,
it knows
animated?
our history, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of a movies you are watching, and how many movies you rewatched it, or whatever the clicks you are doing in your platform. So everything is a log, and everything is there with a machine learning model, and it is trying to find the patterns around it, and the similar kind of genres are being suggested for you. So this is a recommendation problem. Okay. And what is the anomaly detection? Any examples?
Spam.
Spam filters, right? You have spam filter, which is filtering whether the mail is a spam or not in an inbox. That is one thing. And in manufacturing companies, you might have seen that quality department.
Yep.
They might have some observations. Based on that, model can find, call out something saying, boss, your product is having low quality now when compared with the previous production release. So there might be an alert mechanism which is going to handled by some machine learning model, and the model is able to recognize that problem, and then immediately it is pointing out something. So these are the main categories in ML and DL. Even if you are talking about machine learning, or even if you are talking about deep learning, these three things are common. We call them as objectives. Okay. So these are all very much important for you. So in our first month of program, we are going to deal with the prediction problem, a recommendation problem, or anomaly detection problem, but by using structured data, nothing but a machine learning model problem. But if the data changes, if the data is not a SQL data, if the data is not a structured data, if the data is not a tabular data, and if the data is an audio file or a video file or documents, it's a combination of documents, videos, images, everything, then you're going to do deep learning model algorithms. That is going to be the second month program mostly, which we are going to work on. If you compare both machine learning and deep learning, their objectives are common. These are the ones. You are going to do the prediction, you are going to do the recommendation, you are going to do the anomaly detection in both the sections. Okay. So if the tabular data is there, you have the picture now. But tell me where exactly prediction, recommendation, and anomaly detection can be done if my data is an image file. You can ask me a question. Do you have any example similar to prediction or identifying something using images or videos? Any business case?
I mean, in Facebook, when there is a
Face detection mechanism, right?
Correct.
That's one thing. And even but same software is going to be applicable when you are entering into the companies or airports where they do have face detection mechanism. That is where the deep learning algorithms are being used. So here also you're doing the prediction. Same objective, but the type of data is different. What's the data?
Unstructured.
You're looking at images, you're looking
Right.
at video files, and then you're trying to figure out whether the same person is entering into the building premises or not. To do that, what might have been done in the background? How the camera or the model is recognizing that an employee entering into a building company is, a valid person going into the company.
Validating against
With
the
ID.
existing database.
What is that database? So by
I mean,
looking at the
the
face, how
image-
it will recognizing.
Yeah, employee images where it is stored.
Right. So a deep learning model might have got the training on all the employees' images, not one single image. Might be facial structure, all the different directions of images also possible. So the model might have got that detailed understanding of the facial structures of each and every employee, the bone structure, cheek structure, foreheads, eyes, and the nose size, chin size. Everything is actually being trained to these deep learning model. Now, when the similar kind of a person is approaching the camera, it takes a snapshot and then it compares that with its trained data. I already mentioned, right? Now you are doing the evaluation here. The internal testing it is. But if there is an outsider coming in, which is nothing but an evaluation, model might say that this is not the guy. He's not from our database, so don't allow him. So door might won't open. So this is kind of a prediction, right? And you have a image, you have a set of images, cat images are there and dog images are there. Now you have a new image given. You need to recognize whether this animal in the picture is part of your two sets, yes or no, kind of a prediction, right? So that is also a prediction, saying yes or no. This is one kind of an example. Better example would be like diseases. Patient records are there. By looking at an X-ray, an ML model or a deep learning model can say this particular patient is having a disease or not based on the image, X-ray image. So there are some cases where these images, thousands of images are being trained to the model. Means what? How the model is trying to recognize that a patient is having a disease. Any guess? Imagine you are,
The previously trained data against the skin, any rashes or any kind of things. So they validate it
right.
with a similar kind of issues, then it will recognize.
Right. So there might be two sets of data: diseased patient and non-diseased. Right. So good X-rays and bad X-rays both are given to the model. Model able to understand the patterns of good ones and the bad ones. And when the new X-ray image are brought to the model, model supposed to say whether this X-ray is good or bad. It's just a kind of a prediction. Again, a deep learning example. Hope you got it. Right. Now you got the picture, right? What is
Right.
machine learning? What is deep learning? And now tell me, what is data science then?
Data science is a process where we can get all the kind of data to our system.
Yes.
Okay, it could be a database or some storage.
Yep.
So we can get it from different sources, building the pipelines and
Yep.
get it.
Doing some ETL process and
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, and then you are trying to prepare the data here. That is what the science part. That data is essential for machine learning or deep learning models, right? Because you are going to train your model using that data only. So that's the reason AI and AIML and the data science are, I would say, complementary things. So data science is bringing you some data, and then you, of course, they are not bringing the raw data for you. They might be doing some transformations, and they're trying to bring the data into one format and then trying to share that with you, so that the machine learning model can be able to understand the data. And there is something we need to do. Cannot directly give this raw data to the models, machine learning or deep learning. Okay, so we have to do something things to that. That is what the main process which we are going to learn in the first 2 months. How to handle the data, how to deal, prepare that data for the model to understand, in which format the model will convert into, and that is where mostly the math comes into the picture. So some of you might say deep math might be a problem, but you don't need to deep dive into the math, because everything is now Python library. So when you are running an algorithm, probability algorithm, if you are looking at, if you are trying to execute something which is already behind a Python library, you are not directly calling any algorithm there. You are not directly using any mathematical formula there. Everything is well calculated, and then it is already predefined library. You just need to call those methods. That's what it is. Okay, so that's about yeah. Prateek, you're having a
Yeah.
question.
So, yeah, one question here is whatever deep learning and ML we are talking about. So the model, whatever it will be out of box model given, and what kind of who will be providing? Is it mostly Python libraries?
No, model you can build. So machine learning, deep learning case, we can build our own models. It's going to be 50 to 70 lines of Python code. That's it. And then that Python file, which is going to be, you are going to make it a package, and then you are going to wrap an API around it, so that a fast API in Python using fast API can be a wrapper around it, so that you can talk to the model. Now, if you want to put this model into a web application, you are going to create a front-end application where you have a text box and question button. That's it. Now you are going to ask, what is the salary prediction for my 10,000 employee? You are asking a question there and clicking submit. When you do that, it goes to the API, and the API talks to your model, and model is giving response back, and then response you are going to get in the front end. That's it. So in machine learning and deep learning, we are going to do the building of the model from the scratch. But the third case, with generative AI, large language models, where we are talking about, right? That's already predefined model, which is a trained model, pre-trained model. That's the reason we call them as GPT, generative pre-trained transformers. So the GPT comes from that only, means they are already trained ones. Okay. In case of machine learning and deep learning, you are going to build a model and you are going to train the model. So this is going to happen in your small program. So I'll showcase that within short span of time we can build a model which is can give you logical regression, kind of saying yes or no for your spam mail, or else cancer patient prediction data. If you are having that data, then you can just train that to your model. So while you are building, you are going to choose an algorithm there. That is where these many algorithms came in. But don't worry, there are around 10 to 12 algorithms are there, which majorly will be working. Otherwise, nothing much. So in machine learning and deep learning, algorithms are specific to a specific business problem. So for example, if I have to solve a patient disease prediction kind of a problem, which is nothing but yes or no, I need only answer from the model saying yes or no. So I'm going to give the X-ray to the model, and model need to tell me whether this guy is having a disease or not, yes or no. So for that, there is one specific algorithm. But if I have to do some recommendation, imagine your YouTube recommended videos, right? If that is the case, there is a kind of a classification problem. So which you need to use a different kind of an algorithm. So depending on the problem statement, you are going to choose an algorithm, but the process is same. What is the process? You have the data, train the data, test the data, evaluate the model, and then move it to the production. That's it. These steps are common in machine learning and deep learning both. Okay. Any other questions? All right. I hope I have given a bigger picture for you guys. You don't have any confusion now, I believe. If somebody asks you now what's the difference between AI, ML, and DL and data science, now you will be able to explain, at least in one liner or two liner, I believe, right? Okay. Anybody knows about this guy?
Yes, I have done some course in Coursera from that Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate? Andrew NC, right?
Yeah.
This guy is, I mean, he's the founder of Coursera, right?
I see. Yeah.
Before that, he worked in Google as well. And if you have seen his lectures, and most of them are available in YouTube, please go through them, and you'll be amazed actually by looking at his lectures. He mostly teaches on machine learning and deep learning and math around as well. And of course, now he's into AI agents also. So his statement is artificial intelligence is the new electricity. You might have remembered how the electricity formed and what happened afterwards, right? Industrial revolution came into the picture. It's a similar kind of pattern happening right now as AI entered. And the subsequent developments, if you see in the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of changes happened, right? So that is where we are in. My suggestion is try to explore his lectures. He has given Stanford lectures and MIT also. He was into MIT lectures. There is a full package of these guys. I would say don't go for every video, but choose by the concept. When I say this, we'd like to hear from you. How do you usually go through the videos if it is a 2 hours video in YouTube?
Will try speed?
You increase the speed.
Yeah, I do that.
What else is the option?
We can use Notes LLM, right?
Yes, Notebook LM. That's where I'm coming in actually. So, how many of you know about Notebook LM? If you haven't heard about it and you don't know about it, you missed a lot actually. It's been there almost since 1 year, I mean to say. This is from Google, notebooklm.google. You know, this is the best tool which is going to help you from now on to learn the things in an accelerated pace. Okay. This is free version. Of course, pro account also has some additional features there, but free version is also good. So once you log into the Notebook LM, you see a lot of notebooks are there. As I mentioned about Andrew NG, right? Let's see about his lectures. So point is, we don't want to waste the time by going through that 2 hours of video, right? So that is where I need some help. I'm going to use this tool. So I'm just copying this URL, coming back to my Notebook LM. I can create a new Notebook LM. So we do have multiple options here. One is here I do have the source, which is already my YouTube video. If I don't have the source, I can search through the source by giving the concept name here. I can simply say, I need to deep dive into machine learning. So do the research here. If I say that, it directly searches through in the web. Even you can do the deep research also. It will give amazing results. If you want to do any deep research on any topic, any idea, any business idea, if you want to sell your product, if you want to build a product, or if you have a concept that you have to implement something or design something, okay, a lot of things can be done here by using deep research. For now, I'm not using that. I'm just using the other options, whatever I do have here. You see, I can upload a PDF file. I can upload a image file, or I can upload website, sorry, share the website names or YouTube names. So I'm just pasting my YouTube URL here and just keeping insert. So now the resource added here on the left hand side. Okay, you see middle section is a chat window for me. Now I can talk to that video. It's a 2-hour video. I don't know what exactly the concept of this content, but I want to know what details around it. Okay, on the right hand side you see multiple options are there. You can convert that into an audio podcast. You know what is podcast?
To and fro discussion.
Yeah, two people
That's right.
discussion kind of in a radio. You might have seen right now so many podcasts are popular. So one guy is going to talk about the topic and there might be a debate. The other guy or lady might be responding back and then they are explaining the things. Here, whatever the topic you are adding here, they are going to talk about that particular topic. So that's the podcast. It generates dynamically using your Google Gemini model. Okay, so that is one audio file you can generate, and you can generate a video file also, which will give you the slides presentation with audio file. The same podcast, possibly within a video file. It can be a 10-minute or 7-minute video file, depending on the content that you are adding here, and you can customize them. You can make the podcast critic mode or debate mode, a brief explanation mode, or a deep dive mode. And you can increase the size of that audio file or video file, changing the length and everything. And you can change the language as well. So now, apart from that, you can give your own prompt. You know what is meant by prompt? Any idea? Prompt? The question that you are asking to ChatGPT is nothing but a prompt. Okay, you are giving some conditions, statements to the ChatGPT and asking the model to respond back, right? That is nothing but a prompt. So here I can say, make it more detailed or make it understandable for a 10th grade student or a 12th grade student, or imagine that I'm a beginner in AI and ML. So make sure it is at the beginner level or friendly level or deep dive level. You can make it as a more professor explaining the concepts to me, something like that. All that things you can say here. Once that is done, it can generate that audio file. It will do that. Takes few minutes, but you need to wait for audio and video. Takes few minutes. The important ones are the mind map. It will definitely give you a bigger picture on this particular video, whatever Andrew Ng explained in that video. And there are multiple reports that you can generate. You can generate a brief document on this entire 2-hour video. You can prepare the study guide for your own preparation, and you can generate a blog against that. So lot many things are there. Okay, informational article, conceptual overview, uh, you know, so many things are there, and then you can convert that into a quiz as well. And still you want to do some presentation to somebody about this concept, you can simply click on that slide deck, which will generate around 10 to 15 slider for you. See, mind map is already done. It's talking about, that video is talking about ML course overview. Is talking about machine learning, course structure, prerequisites that you need to have, and then definitions, and then some topics. If you want to deep dive into any specific topic, like for example, supervised learning, I can double click. That chat window will explain to me about that node, whatever I clicked on. Hope you are getting my explanation. Any questions so far? This is free, guys. Please better use this. Of course, Google Pro account, if you are having, then you will be having some amazing tools with you. I will explain one by one tools in our sessions as we move on. So you see the summary of that particular node, which I double clicked. That is what it is. And it is showing you the resource also from where exactly the content came in. and you can ask more questions here against that topic. Okay, so this is one thing. If you are okay, let's see the quiz as well. So you can have the quiz. This is on only one video I have given, right? What if I don't have much of information with me? I don't have the video links. Imagine that I need to explore on machine learning concepts. So when I say that, I'm going to say yes, fast research for now to do the quick results. Every time it will bring 10 results for me. Again, I can do the research. Again, I can press on something and then get 10 more results and 10 more results and so on. So now I got 10 results. I'm just importing them. You see here, along with your video, now there are additional resources which are coming from different websites. Some of them are PDF files, some of them are websites, some of them can be articles, all that stuff. Some of them are video files. It can bring anything actually. Now we can choose one particular source and what exactly the concept around that. You can deep dive into that concept. Again, I can click on mind map. So now it is giving only this particular source related mind map. That's how you can deep dive into the subject. Okay. So some decision tree algorithm being explained here. So you can deep dive into that, ask the questions, and get more answers there. All that stuff you can do. Okay. Any questions so far on this tool? All good. I'll show you one deck that I have prepared. Yes, this is the one. You will be amazed by the slides that are being generated. You see here, you're able to see the screen, right?
Yes. But these slides are from the
Yeah, they
notebook
generated
LM?
here. Here. You see the label here, notebook LM.
Okay.
It generates within minutes actually. So the same slide actually, whatever presentation I'm showing you a moment ago about Andrew Ng's photograph, right? The same slide I have given, same presentation deck. That's around 20-30 slider. I just gave that to this notebook LM to generate a revised version of presentation. That's how it is right now. So there are many things are coming in month by month, week by week. Many tools are being introduced. It's just to the learning curve is very minimal right now. It's just we need to think where exactly we are in and how we can fit into the system. So that is where I'm coming into right now. Now we understood at the bigger picture what is this AIML and generative AI. Definitely there would be some questions from you guys. I'm a developer, or I'm a tester, or I'm in leadership role. I'm into a leadership role, and where exactly I'm going to fit into the system, right? So to answer that, first of all, one thing I would like to say, immediate question is from most of the people is, do I need to start as a fresher in AI and ML? Is that the case? Do you think? Any idea? Are we going to be the freshers there? So this is the most pondering question actually people are having about. Answer is no, basically. Why? Because people who already spend their experience 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, they are into different domains. You are already having familiarity with multiple domains like healthcare, manufacturing, retail, banking, finance, edu sector. So you're already having some familiarity with that. That is your strongest point. And adding AI and ML to that, or generative AI to that, is going to bring your more value. You are bringing more value to the system, more value to the company. In that direction, you need to think. Okay, you don't need to be a programmer, even if you have already passed 15 plus experience, and you might be thinking like, do I need to learn Python programming now? Yes, Python is not complex. It's a simple English. Actually, I would say you don't need to deep dive into the data structure level of programming there, because machine learning program is, building a model is just less than 50 to 100 lines of code. And that 50-100 lines of code is now being written by your white coding tools. I'm going to introduce some of the tools to you, like Google Colab and Visual Studio Code, Cursor, Anti-Gravity. These are the tools which are being evolved right now. So I'll show you the things which are happening. Within minutes, we can build a model. We can train the model. We can test and evaluate the model. That's not the point. The key aspect is your expertise on your domains. If you have already worked on retail, you already know what are the pain points of the customers, where exactly the business needed AI part of it. If you can bring that into the system, then you are going to have more value add, and you will be the front runner for the positions, I would say. Hope you got that. Any questions so far?
Yeah. So what will be the learning curves when we go towards AI engineering?
Yeah. So if you are a full stack developer, already you can be a .NET developer, Java developer, and you have front end, back end understanding everything. Then you just need to understand a bit of Python. If you are already familiar with Python, that's okay. This is one thing. And then for every department, kind of let me share. Yeah. You see here, this is the mind map. Simply I have extracted. For machine learning, there are some specific skills which you can look into. For deep learning, there are some skills, but of course, both are common. If you know Python, and then understanding of data, preparing your data, and trying to write some of the algorithms is enough for you. That is where the roles are coming up. ML engineer and data scientist, they are part of this area. Okay, so if you look at the skills, bit of math and programming and some analytical thinking. Math also, you don't need to do any theorems, deriving anything. It's just you need to understand some basic 10th level math. You already did that. Of course, if you forgot everything, just a refreshment which we are going to do. But the math is you might know about matrices, you might know about linear algebra or vector algebra. Maybe vector algebra is in +2, but linear algebra is in your before 10th or 9th. And then there is a bit of calculus, there is a bit of probability. But I'm not saying that you have to understand all these concepts, but I'll try to correlate the concepts with the business problem. Then you will be able to understand what exactly happening in the background. If you know the background story, your work will be easier. That's the only thing. So whoever is having interest in math and programming, they can do better job in ML engineering and deep learning. So basically, machine learning and deep learning both need a bit of math and Python. That's it. So this is a learning curve for people who are looking for ML engineer and data scientist roles. Data scientist role is kind of a senior lead or a dev. If ML engineer is a software engineer role, data scientist role is kind of a lead role. Okay, where the data scientist is having the bigger picture. So he would be building the model, training the model, deploying the model, and then bringing the model back to training and fine tuning the model. So this is a cyclic process, kind of similar to your DevOps, where you build the software, test the software, deploy the software, and bring back it and then fix the problems, right? The same thing happens in machine learning as well, even deep learning. So these two cases are similar to your software engineering, nothing different. Only that role names are changing. So your ML engineer is similar to software engineer. Your lead are similar to the data scientist role, and your DevOps role is similar to MLOps role. Okay. For the learning curve for these areas is these are some of the things, and some libraries are there, Python libraries, which you are going to learn about in our mostly the training area. So NumPy, Pandas, Keras, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch, all that stuff. These names are new to you and you might be confused, but simply we are using only at the top of the program, import this library and use this function. That's it. Nothing more than that. And there would be a specific case where exactly this particular library we need to use. For example, Pandas is being used whenever you are dealing with structured data. You have tables, you need to handle the data sets or tables. You are reading rows and columns, merging two tables, dividing two tables, filtering the rows and columns. All that stuff you are going to do with Pandas. So there are specific library which is needed for a specific task. If you are familiar with this, then you are already an ML engineer or a data scientist. That's the roles you're dealing with. The same case in deep learning also. ML engineer, data scientist, and NLP, prompt, LLM, AI. These last four roles are nothing but mostly into your generative AI. If you are learning generative AI, then you are going to learn about these roles. Okay, so we'll talk about these areas in our generative AI section. NLP, when I say it is text. Computer, when I say computer vision, it is image. Speech recognition, when I say it is audio. If you remember, I mentioned in my presentation, right? You have structured and unstructured data. We are using structured data for ML, unstructured data for deep learning. Unstructured is nothing but these are kind of the data: audio, image, text, and combining them together and do some operations. Then you are going to bring in agents into the picture, and there are some protocols for that to communicate with different sources. So we'll talk about this. Don't worry. And this is Gen AI. So the important aspect I would like to say that I'm not saying you need to understand AI, you need to understand machine learning, you need to learn deep learning, and you need to learn Gen AI. It would be too much, right? So depending on your capabilities, you have to choose one path. But the foundation need to be known. That is what the foundation I'm trying to give you. By completion of the second month, you will have an idea whether I'm going to fit for a computer vision, whether I'm going to fit for an NLP, or whether I'm going to fit for machine learning engineering or deep learning, whether I'm going to go for a data scientist role, whether I'm going to become an AI engineer. So AI engineer is nothing but upgradation of your software engineer with AI capabilities. So you are going to build full stack application, but you are just using generative AI or LLM models in your integration applications. So that's the AI engineer role. 70% of the existing workforce might shift into AI engineering roles, because you know already a lot of us are worried about math. A lot of us worried about theoretical concepts, right? So whoever is having that complexity problem, they might not jump into ML engineer or data scientist roles. But you are already having a full stack knowledge. You can jump into a web application development and then just add AI capabilities to it. So that's one way to jump into these roles. That is where these roles are coming in: machine learning engineer, data scientist, NLP engineer, prompt engineer, LLM engineer. You know how the salaries are there. I'll show you that as well.
So the full stack engineers who is using AI tools like Copilot or anything, are they going to be called as AI engineers?
Correct.
Oh, I see.
So you are already an AI engineer. If you are already building applications and just
That's what I'm
adding,
wondering actually. Yeah.
just adding any, you know, you're just using an API of OpenAI or ChatGPT and bringing a chatbot into your existing application. So you are an AI engineer.
I might have not developed the chatbot. Somebody else.
Possible. But the thing is, if you are a full stack developer and you are just adding integration capabilities to your skill, AI integration, like bringing in a LLM model API, or building a RAG chatbot, or building a simple chatbot into an existing application. For example, ICICI Bank is there. Now, previously the support system is IVR system, and then they provided one rule-based chatbot in the front end. Whenever you log in, immediately it opens up and says, "How can I help you?" Something like that, which is a rule-based chatbot. It doesn't have the AI capabilities, but now they're trying to embed that. Now it is more intelligent. It can talk to you. Previously, there are 100 questions they have in the data bank, FAQs. When the user asks any question out of that 100, it responds back. If the question is out of that syllabus, it would simply say a default answer. So please reach out to the customer care. This is a rule-based chatbot, which were the previous versions. But now they are making it smart. So now an LLM manager is there, means an OpenAI or ChatGPT, any model with an API is sitting there, and you are asking a question, it is trying to explain you the things in more detail. So now most of the software developers are trying to do that things. That is where AI engineering roles are evolving right now. If you go to the jobs, basically in LinkedIn, search for AI engineer roles and see the the requirements or the job descriptions. So any AI engineer, I'm just looking at software engineer AI or ML engineer. ML engineer is different. Now you know, right? Who is ML engineer?
Yes.
ML engineer is going to build a model. He's going to train the model. He's going to test the model and evaluate the model. If somebody is asking you to do ML model implementation as well as generative AI and everything, it is too much actually. They are expecting too many things from you. Okay. It would be usually narrowed down role that you are going to play. So even the architect role is actually AI engineer who upgrades to the next level, an architect level. So end-to-end AI ML solutions. Actually, they are looking for ML engineer. So whenever you see machine learning or deep learning, it is more of a data scientist role. In the Python libraries, TensorFlow, PyTorch, whatever you are going to use. Okay, but if it is only AI engineer, I'm just trying to search for such role. They are combining everything.
AIML.
This is staff AI engineer, Teradata. Now see that. Where is the skill? You will be architecting, designing, implementing secure, scalable frameworks for autonomous AI agents. So you should be having an, full stack understanding first.
Development knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge, and then generative AI. Your agents are sitting in generative AI only, actually. Third part, which we are going to talk about. And MCP is also sitting in generative AI. So this is completely targeting your third section. Okay, so AI engineers mostly will be sitting into the third category where you are going to explore more into generative AI part of it. And it, of course, in that generative AI, you might be working with text, which is nothing but NLP. If somebody says NLP, it is nothing but you are working on text embeddings and that stuff. But if somebody says a speech related product you need to work on, that is actually speech engineer, means ASR, we talk about automatic speech recognition. So audio, video, image, text, these 4 sections have 4 different parts again, as I mentioned here. Okay, that's the reason specific role you need to decide, but you can't decide that at the beginning of this program. Once you have a clear picture on machine learning, and once you have a clear picture on deep learning, because these two are foundations for your generative AI basically. If you have a picture on model implementation, training, evaluation, in deep learning you will get to know what are neural networks, how the neural networks work, and how the transformers work, and then all that stuff is coming from transformers. So once you are coming finally to transformers knowledge, then you will be able to understand all this stuff. That is the reason these are all branches. I'm not saying that you should be mastering everything. You can choose one specific branch and settle there. You don't need to work on all this stuff. Okay, data science you already know about, SQL, Python, some tools. Even if you are not understanding these concepts and you say hands up at the end of third month, the best option for you is, by the time you should be able to understand Python to some extent. You might have already learned SQL, and some tools will help you to survive in data science area. Now Snowflake is there. I mean, many tools are coming. All these big data tools, and everything can be helping you to survive in that area. You don't need to worry about AI and machine learning. Those are all more into programming and maybe math to some extent, or generative AI, where large language models are there. This one. So different roles are there. Even LLM engineer is a role. You might have surprised, but their only responsibility is they are going to build LLMs, fine tune them, and then evaluate them and fine tune them, train them. The same thing. Process is same, but it would be size, humongous size that they are dealing with. That's the only difference. Hope you got the bigger picture now. And one more important aspect is this ethical AI. As the technology growing, you might have heard about a lot of misuse, a lot of deepfake related stuff. You might see non-secured generation of content, all that things, right? So that is where this ethical AI comes into the picture. Even if you are not technical and you want to jump into the ethical understanding of AI, building guardrails to the systems is going to be the key aspect for you. Guardrails are like, whenever a model is responding back to with a response, you need to put filters there. So it should evaluate for privacy, security, misuse of data, fact checking of data. These areas you should need to evaluate. So that is where this ethical AI comes into the picture. Ethical AI specialist, there is a role, and then cyber security with AI, there is a role. So which is a different department again. So even if you can, if you want to evolve into this area, this is one important branch which you can build around your career path. Okay. Any questions so far? Hope I'm not giving you the boring lecture.
No, we are good.
No questions here. This is good.
Cool. Let me show you this presentation as well. So if you see the reshaping of the world, the major advancements are around this healthcare, I would say healthcare and biology, they are having the main largest gaining actually. Cancer treatments, genome code evolution, they are fastest now. Even quantum computing is helping them to get the better results in sooner. So they're going to accelerate the things more. That is where AI is helping a lot. And then finance, of course, as you already know, people are building Autobots, which will be doing the tradings for them. I'm not suggesting you to do that, but there are ways that just earning the money. Of course, losing is also there because not every time the model is giving you the accuracy, right? That's the reason we say model is 90% accurate or 98% accurate. If you are saying there is no 100% thing at all. Of course, some of the models might be giving you 100% of answers, but as the data grows, there will be a challenge for the model to give you the accurate answers. Okay. So there is a huge acceleration in these areas, and people started learning about each and every branch of it, and they're just deep diving into that branch, and then they're building their core strength in that areas. So when we are talking about ML, we'll talk about these areas also: supervised learning, unsupervised, reinforcement. These are all the branches of it, and then we'll talk about how our brain cells work, neurons work. That is where I'm going to talk about these layer mechanism, and this helps you to understand deep learning more. Okay. There is one more thing thought of checking. Most of the people ask me usually, do I need to upgrade my system when I'm trying to build these machine learning, deep learning, and LLM applications, right? Answer is no. You don't need to go with that. Even if you are having 8 GB RAM is also fine for now. You have a tool called Google Colab, which will help you to build machine learning applications and deep learning applications also. Of course, machine learning can be run in your Visual Studio Code locally. You don't need to upgrade your systems. You don't need to have a GPU there. But if it is a deep learning model, definitely you need to have a GPU. 4 GB GPU is not enough. 8 GB is also a bit tough. 12 GB would be sufficient. And then from there onwards, means as the data size grows and the type of problem that you are dealing with depends on that, your GPU should be higher. But everybody cannot afford these GPUs, right? Graphic card, that chips itself is going to be costlier. So that's the reason we are going to go with Colab Notebook or Jupyter Notebook. You can work on. Colab is the best, I could say. Have you ever seen this Colab Notebook before? No.
No, we have used that.
So the best thing here is it has a runtime option, which is connecting to a virtual machine, GPUs. There are TPUs also available here. You know what is TPU? Usually the GPUs are made by NVIDIA company, right? Whereas the TPU is from Google. Google has its own GPUs. We call them as TPUs, tensor processing unit. So you can use this GPU or TPU option, and then you can use 3 languages here. So we'll go with more on Python. So when you have this runtime, you can run a machine learning algorithm or a deep learning algorithm. Machine learning algorithms need only your local PC configuration. You don't need to upgrade the systems. But when you are running deep learning algorithms, you need a higher configuration, high computing power. I will explain why do we need that. So with that GPU selection, you can run this program here. And good part is you are having Gemini model support here. See here. So now I can simply say, build a machine learning model that predicts salary of an employee from the data using Kaggle. Anybody know Kaggle?
Have a huge data sets.
So
Yeah.
Kaggle is a public data sets available marketplace. You can directly download the data set and bring that data set here, and then you can run your program, or simply give this to Gemini so that it can try to bring that model data set also from the data using Kaggle data set. Let's see. I just asked my Gemini model. It is having Gemini 3 Pro or 2.5 Pro, I'm not sure. But this would try to write a program here. And you will see that is nothing but a machine learning model. Once I run that, that can predict the value. But of course, first of all, it needs to bring the data set. Let's see if it is able to do that or not. Now the T4 is running. It takes 1 or 2 minutes. That's it. Meanwhile, we'll go back to this. So that's the major thing I'm talking about. The infrastructure, you don't need to upgrade. You just can run it on your local laptop or machine, something. And some of the tools which I'm going to explain, those are all Hugging Face is the major thing which we'll be dealing with, because you can build your own model and you can deploy the model into Hugging Face so that it can become a web application and you can share that to public. Anybody can work on it. And Launchpad is also one kind of a framework. We are going to talk about this. All these projects, you are going to put them into GitHub so that you are building your own profile. My 3 months journey is going to happen with that GitHub profile, and your learning curve is at GitHub. So when you are going for an interview, usually people ask what kind of a projects you dealt with. Then usually these developers can directly put their program projects here, even if you are not working on any production projects. If they are satisfied with the work that you have done there, if you are able to explain the things, then definitely you are going to be the first contender there. Okay, so these are all the roles which I mentioned. AI ethics specialist, NLP specialist, computer vision engineer, nothing but image related processing. Here it is text processing. And the data scientist, now you already know, nothing but they are ML engineers, upgraded ones, data scientist. A data engineer is coming from data science area. Okay, AI researcher should be knowing about all. Now you have a bigger picture. You know ML, you know DL. Imagine that you already know about generative AI. Then you can become an AI architect or AI researcher who can bring the ideas, and then who can suggest that things, how to integrate these into your business problems. Even the regular product managers are becoming AI product managers now. The business analysts are the product analysts. I mean, they upgrade themselves into AI. They understand where exactly this machine learning or deep learning can be applicable, right? So when they know that, they can build the better requirements, better product requirements, and then give it to the AI team or a data science team. And MLOps engineer, just similar to DevOps engineer. He knows the pipelines. He will be able to build the pipelines for machine learning or deep learning, training, testing, evaluation, all that stuff. I hope you have the bigger picture on the roles now. So the transformations, as I mentioned, a software engineer can become an ML engineer or an AI engineer. A database administrator can become a data engineer. DevOps person can become an MLOps engineer. And now the business analyst becomes a product manager, and an architect become an AI architect or a data scientist. He can also play a data scientist role. If you see, mostly the common skills are Python, SQL, and machine learning models and LLM models. Nothing much. Especially the domain specific knowledge is going to be the key aspect for all the roles. That's the reason a software engineer with 12 years can simply say, I have a healthcare experience for 5 to 7 years. Then they can apply for the healthcare related AI integration applications. That is where he will be having a weighted, um, you know, the first priority. So don't think like we are going to be the freshers here. You are bringing in your own domain knowledge, which is going to be the abundant stuff that is needed for the companies. So now think in your own domains how to bring the business solutions to the specific domains, where exactly the user pain points and how we can do the automation there. If you think in that direction, then definitely your profile is going to be the weighted one. Okay, I think I'm mostly covered everything here. Just want to check with you guys if you have any questions. You have the bigger picture now.
This is Naveen here. Though you have touched upon the prerequisites, I just want to reiterate on that. What would be the prerequisite for going through this course?
I don't say that you need to be a full stack developer because I'm going to start with Python basics. My next session would be just a walkthrough on Python, how this is going to be helpful and what libraries we need to learn and understand. So even a non-programmer is also can be part of this one. Only the thing is, whenever I'm talking about a model building with that 100 lines of code, that is where they might feel non-related, alienated probably, but that's okay because now you have the vibe coding tools. You don't need to worry about that. So if you see, the collab is already doing that thing for me. So even a non-programmer can build that. It just need to understand what exactly happening behind the scenes. If that is clear, then anybody can work on this. That's the reason even I'm suggesting the testers also to go for AI engineer roles, because at least they know some scripting understanding. They can understand what exactly happening. If we are already a full stack developer, then absolutely you are at other pace, better pace when compared with a non-technical guy. But a person who is a non-technical, it takes 1 month for them to understand Python. But already the full stack developer or the programmer, they might take at least 2 weeks of time to accelerate. That's it. The prerequisites are, apart from that, nothing. We just need a laptop with 8 GB or 16 GB RAM. And I'm going to talk about many tools that you can start working on, like Notebook LM. One I have explained, right? There are a few more tools are there, which I'm going to introduce in my next sessions. Using that, anybody can learn actually. That's the reason I don't say any prerequisites are needed.
Okay. Any tools that you can deploy like Python, PyCharm or something like that?
Here, collab I mentioned, right? This is one thing. And the other thing I'm going to talk about is Cursor. I will deep dive into the Cursor, how you can utilize that, what are the features are there in Cursor, how you can better utilize this in agentic approach. Agentic views are there. So models that are being used in this, how you can implement better usage of Cursor and Visual Studio Code as well. This is one thing. Apart from that, there is another tool called anti-gravity. Cursor and Visual Studio Code both are same actually. They do have the same source code. It's just some additional changes which are there. So building applications, there are 3 ways. One is using browser. That is what vibe coding people are doing now. They don't need any tools. The other way is using CLI. You might be hearing about it a lot many ways. Simply I say Claude here, my Claude CLI will start. So whatever I'm building using these IDE tools, I can build the same here using command prompt only. I don't need anything. So simply when I say yes, now my CLI started. Actually using this CLI, I can build entire project within just 1 hour. So, and the agents are working for me here. So this is one way of building the application. This is the second way. First one is browsers. Using browser, I mentioned about Firebase or Bolt or Lovable. Many tools are there. I try to explain at least 1 or 2 tools around that. So through browser is one option, through CLI is one option, and then through IDE is the other option, third option. Core programmers usually they already understand about it, so they shouldn't be having any problem. So I give multiple options to the people. They can start working on anything, any comfortable approach. I would say browser-oriented implementation is not feasible in machine learning and deep learning. But for your regular web applications, you can go for this IDE or sorry, the browser-oriented applications. And there is one more important tool recently launched, anti-gravity. Okay, this is also the forked version of Visual Studio Code, and this is built on your Gemini Pro model, and this is free. Cursor, yes, to some extent it is free, but you need to pay $20 per month if you want to have better features of it. So if you feel like you don't need to worry about that, go for anti-gravity. This anti-gravity is completely free version, and it is having an agentic version. So agents are sitting here. I will explain everything, how you can run multiple projects. You can work on multiple projects here. 4 folders are opened with 4 different projects, and each and every folder is being handled by one agent. So I can build multiple projects simultaneously using anti-gravity. So this is one kind of a tool. Apart from that, even in IDE also I can use my CLI. So for example, this is my cursor. I simply open the terminal. I can use any model, Claude or Gemini. Everybody is having a CLI nowadays. I set up everything in my system, so I can start working with Gemini in my terminal. That can be in my IDE or only by opening my own command prompt. I can run that. So these are all multiple ways where you can build applications and understand the tools to accelerate your work, which I'm going to talk about in most of the cases. So this is Gemini, and this is Claude. Anybody can work on Gemini. Gemini is free, whereas Claude I'm paying here. I have a subscription. I'm paying $100 for this particular thing because this is worthable. $20, $100, $200 subscriptions are there for Claude. Gemini is obviously free. You can directly start working on it. Now Gemini 3.0 is the best model. So you're having free model with the free tools like anti-gravity. So you don't need to pay anything. If you are able to install these CLI and IDE, then you are all set. You can start building anything. Okay. I hope that answers.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Cool then. We'll close the call. We'll start with a few more deep dive into the AI part, history, where exactly we started and where evolving happened and how it happened and where we are moving towards in the next 1 year or 5 years. What is AGI? I'll talk about all this stuff tomorrow. Anybody know what is AGI?
No, I'm not aware.
So just explore on that. Come back to me. Give me your opinion tomorrow. AGI is the upgraded version of AI. Okay, If you have seen the movie called Robo, Rajinikanth's Robo, right?
Mm-hmm.
That Robo is AGI. So fully autonomous, thinks everything on its own and take the decisions, and it can do something better than these existing AI. So that is what AGI. And search for Sam Altman's statements. They are saying that they are trying to achieve AGI within 1 year or 2 years or something like that. What happens if that happens? What happens if the Tesla robot is going to achieve that AGI? So a lot many things are there. We'll talk about it tomorrow. All right.
Okay. One question before we close up. So this AI tools and all those, they are eventually making all developers or users as a very productive, right?
Mm.
But again, it is going to cost a lot of money to company. So going forward, the adaption part, how do you see it?
So 2 years back, when you have to use a large language model API, 1 million token cost is around $75. Okay, 1
Mhm.
million token. I'm saying token. Imagine token is one word in a sentence.
Yeah.
If that is the case, 1 million words, if you are using in your conversation with that ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, you have to pay $75. So if you have a 100-page program or application where you have 200 to 300K size of million tokens, sorry, 300K size tokens, when you do add more lines or do more conversation, at some point of time, maybe in 3 hours or 4 hours or so, you will achieve that 1 million token size. Means for every 5 hours, you have to pay $100 or around something. That is what 2 years back. Now, because of the upgradation of the models, the cost reduced to $10 now. Okay, so that's the upgradation. Means you are reducing the cost as the models are getting performed. The costs are getting reduced, so the consumption is getting reduced. So gradually, when you achieve some best model, possibly you may not need to pay the things for the company.
Okay.
Move on are going to be good actually.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. All right then. Thank you. Have a good evening. And
Thank you,
good
everyone.
day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks.